Welcome to this session. Today we would be talking about the IAS CSET paper 2. We would be covering the set of next 20 questions. So the first question here is a passage based question. This question talks about governing only a few selected citizens based on the theories that are confining from human history. So when we talk about few selected citizens, now the question here says which of the following is a least essential element or a least essential argument. So few things that we need to keep in mind is what is said in the passage and what we have to find is one of the least essential elements or which is minimum essential. Now the exclusion of the many is justified on the ground that human beings may be rightfully segregated for the good of the society and the viability of the political process. This means that we are trying to classify people as super and subhuman beings, that's correct. Then there are exceptions to universal citizen participation which are conducive to systematic efficacy. That's again correct statement because we are trying to bring out universal citizen participation which is good for efficacy of the government. And finally, our governing implies recognition of disparities in individual capacity. So by classifying them as super and sub or selecting a few candidates, we are trying to do a recognition of disparities in of the individual capacity. So that's again correct. So the only incorrect option is A, which says we are trying to control the external things. Here in the passage there is nothing mentioned about the external things. So that's the incorrect option. Now this question talks about increase in the population on the earth has taken place from 7 million to 9 million, and that has what is discussed in the passage is about the food security or the food scarcity. So it says to fill so much increasing population we need to have good resources for food production. How we can do that is we can introduce either high yielding variety of crops which are more efficient. We can do waste reduction. We can reclaim the nutrients and water from the waste streams and preserve the farmland. What poor countries can do is improve the crop storage, and what rich countries can contribute is contribute by means of resource intensive foods like meat. So this passage talks about that food security is a collective challenge. It's not just the developing nation or the developed nation that need to focus on it, but we can say it's a collective challenge for both developed nations as well as developing nation. So the correct option here would be D. Next question. Many people in India feel that if we cut our defense expenditure on weapon building, we can create a climate of peace. So what people are arguing here is to cut the defense expenditure, and that would help us create a climate of peace. Now let's go on to the question. Question says what we are trying to understand is one of the valid assumptions. So which of the following would be most valid assumption here? So if I am trying to cut my expenditure on defense, what I am trying to take this picture into account is from that building of weapon systems by us has instigated our neighbors to wage war against us. That's one of the correct options. So A would be the correct choice here. Next question. This passage talks about child mortality in India with a special reference to India. It says in the first month more than half of the child die and nearly 16 lakh children die every year. The major reasons that have been talked about is due to the health practices, lack of immunization. Then you have problems which prevail during pregnancy and post delivery, prevalence of child marriage, anemia, and adolescent sanitation. So these are the major issues that have been discussed. That means the focus of this passage is on maternal health and child health and how to effectively control or address these problems. So you have the correct option as C. So it's universalization and integration of maternal health and child health services which can address the problem. So the correct option here would be choice C. Next question. This passage talks about the preservation of or the food processing industry and the processed food. So it says that processed foods are nowadays freely available, but there are many environmental threats that are related to it, mostly in case of It causes destruction of rainforest, decreases nutritional content, increases demand for preservation and packaging. So these are the major issues that we need to understand when we talk about the food challenges in India. So we can say that food processing industry puts a burden on natural resource because we are destroying the rainforest, so that's correct, and also consuming regionally grown food and not depending on long traveled food is a part of eco-friendly behavior. That's again correct because it says that we are harming the environment if we are using processed food. So both 1 and 2 are correct. So the choice would be answer C, that's both 1 and 2. Now this is an excerpt from Mahatma Gandhi's autobiography, My Experiments with Truth. This paragraph specifically talks about the importance of silence, and Gandhiji says that when we are trying to be silent over a period of time, what we don't do is we do not modify the truth, we do not exaggerate the fact, and as a result the truth is preserved. So he says the person who are asked to speak, they either exceed the time limit, they ask for more time, or keep on talking without permission. So all these tend to waste too much of time, and it's not sure whether the reality or the votary of the truth is maintained or not. So he says the experience has taught him that silence is a part of a spiritual discipline of a votary of truth. So that's the excerpt of this passage. Now there are 3 questions based on it. The first question is, the author says that a thoughtless word hardly ever escapes his tongue or pen. Which of the following is not a valid reason? So not here is important. We are finding which of the following is not a valid reason. So he believes in speaking less, that's economy of words, which is correct. He believes in restraining his thought, that's mentioned in the first few lines, and his hesitancy in the speech, that's again correct. So the only option which is not valid is he has no intention to waste his time. That was not the motive. The next question, the most appropriate reason for the author to be spared many a mishap is, the correct answer here would be, he hardly utters and writes a thoughtless word. A few students got confused with votary of truth, but that is the conclusion, I should say, for the question that is asked. That's not a supporting statement. So the answer here would be A, and A would be the correct choice, that he hardly utters or writes a thoughtless word. Next question. For the author, silence is necessary in order to surmount. So silence is important to surmount the tendency to overstate. Tendency to overstate means people have a tendency to exaggerate. So when you speak, if you speak a lot, you either exaggerate the facts or you modify the truth. So according to him, silence is important to surmount the tendency to overstate. So D would be the correct option here. Next choice. Next question. Here you have 12 people who form a club, and in a month you have in a year you have 12 months and you have 12 people. So what does, if I directly try to say, on an average, you can say one person would host a dinner once a month, but here you are picking up the lots. So if I am one of the persons who is picking up the lot, every time I pick up, I get a chance for the dinner. So there can be a possibility that I host the dinner 12 times. Another round I try to pick up, and there is a possibility that none of the time I get a chit to pick up. So it's 0. Okay. So what is happening here is, I can host the dinner all the 12 months of a year, and there can be chance that I do not host a dinner a single month of a year. So the correct answer would be cannot be predicted. The next question. This is about this says that the monthly consumption is decreasing with the increase in the price. Okay. So what is happening is, I can say the total expenditure is being maintained. So the total expenditure by the household is being maintained. So in the first case it's 40 into 60, that's 2400. Next it would be 50 into 48, that's again 2400. Then it's 60 into 40. That's again 2400. The next is 75 into 32. That's again 2400. So finally, if it's 80 per liter, it should be 80 into x is equal to 2400. If I try to solve it, it would be x is equal to 2400 by 80. I cancel it out, that's 30. So x is equal to 30, my answer here would be 30. So the total expenditure in this case would be 30 when the price is 80 rupees per liter. Now here you have a question from spatial reasoning. So I have a series that is going on. So let's first try to understand this one by one. I'll focus on the triangle. This triangle moves to the next location and inverts, then moves to the next location and inverts, moves to the next location and inverts. So here it would move to the next location and invert. So this would be the correct option. So I am ignoring choice C and D, that gets cancelled out. Now out of A and B, let's decide. So I have the white solid dot. This goes down, so it comes here. Then it goes up, so it comes here. Then this goes here, so it comes here. Now in the next round it would go down, so it would become here. So from these two I can say A would be the correct option. That's enough to find out the answer. Still, if you want to proceed, let's try to do with the other circle which is not filled. So this circle goes up, then this circle goes here, then comes down. So again it would go up. So this circle would be here. So again I can say A would be the correct option. So this is a problem based on visual understanding. Now here you have a matrix. This was a kind of tricky question for some of the students, but it follows a very simple logic. So you have a series of matrix and you have a missing figure here. You have to find out what would be the missing number. So for the first case, let me do 3 square minus 3. What would be the value? 3 square is 9. 9 minus 3 is 6. So the first value comes to be 6. Then you have 8 square minus 8. That's 64 minus 8. That's 56. Then you have 10 square minus 10, that's 100 minus 10, that's 90. Then you have 2 square minus 2, that's 4 minus 2, that's 2. Then lastly you have 1 square minus 1, that's 1 minus 1, which is 0. And here I can say it's 5 square minus 5, so it's 25 minus 5, that's 20. So the correct answer would be, so the correct answer here is 20, that's coming up, and so the value here would be 5. So 5 would be the correct value. Next question, you have a series and you have to find out the value of x which is missing. Now this is a very simple series of addition in increasing order. So I can say, I can write 7x, 21, 31 and 43. So if I try to find out the difference, here it's 12, this difference is 10. I can say this difference should be 8 and this difference should be 6. If that is the case, I can say it's increasing with every two numbers. So if I subtract 8 from 21, I get 13. I keep 13 here, I can say 7 plus 6 is 13 and 13 plus 8 is 21. So this series follows. So the correct answer here would be 13. So it's an increasing order of difference. So 31 minus 21 is 10. 43 minus 31 is 12. So 21 minus 8 would be 13. So the answer here is 13. Next question. Now this question, you have 4 things given. You have to join them in certain fashion that they turn out to be the correct choice. So here these two are rectangle. Now I don't want to change the shape of the rectangle. So rectangle should remain as such. So here what is happening? This rectangle is becoming parallelogram. So you can see the slanting lines, again you can see the slanting lines, and here again you have the parallelogram. So the only case where it exists as such as a rectangle is choice D. So choice D would be the correct answer. Next question. In a test, a candidate attempted only 8 questions and secured 50% marks. So what we need to know is how many questions were there. So let the total number of questions be x, marks for each question be 1. Okay. So if the candidate is attempting 8 questions and he is getting 50% marks, that means he is getting half mark in each question. And what is the total number of questions is x, and the total number of marks would be 1 for each question. Since I can say all questions carry equal marks, and this value would be equal to 40. So I can say percentage of this would be 40. So So if I try to solve it, it would be 4 by x into 100, that would be 40. So I can say 40x is equal to 400, so x is equal to 400 by 40, that is 10. So the correct answer here would be B, that is 10. This is a question related to age problem. Now the question says, father is 9 times as old as his son and the mother is 8 times as old as his son. So let me consider the age of son to be x. So father is equal to 9x, mother is equal to 8x. Now the sum of the age of father and mother. So 9x plus 8x would be equal to 51. So 17x would be equal to 51. So x would be equal to 3. Now if I put it here, 9 into 3, that's 27, and 8 into 3, that's 24. I add up 27 and 24, I get 51. So I can cross check my question again and see whether I am landing to a correct answer or not. So the answer here would be, the age of the son would be 3 years. Next question. There are 4 persons. Now there are 4 persons and they are couples. So husband wife and husband wife. Now both the wife are shorter than their husband. So you have 4 persons, A, B, C and D. Both the wives are shorter than their husband. A is the tallest. That means A would be husband. C is taller than B. That's again something that is known. And D is the brother of B. Since D is the brother of B, D is again male and he is again husband. And since he is the brother of C, the wife of D would be, husband wife would be C and D, and husband wife would be B and A. Now both these husbands are taller than the wife. So I can say D is greater than C and A is greater than B. If I do it here, I can say D is greater than C and A is greater than B, and A is the tallest also, so A would come here. So based on this, which of the following is not correct? All 4 have family ties, that is correct, because B is the brother of, D is the brother of B. Then B is shortest among the 4, that comes to be correct. C is taller than D, that is incorrect. A and B are husband and wife, that's correct. A and B are husband and wife and C and D are husband and wife. So the only incorrect option here is choice C. Next question. This question says, in a family there is 1 man, 2 daughters and 2 sons. So let me draw. I have 1 man, 2 daughter, 2 son. Now the statement says daughters go out for the feast. So you have 1 man, 1 wife, 2 sons. All the male members go out for the picnic. So this and this go out for picnic. This man's father has not returned from work. So I know in the family there are these many people. I don't know how many people are there in the home. So the question says, how many people are left at the home? So I cannot say none was left because I don't know anything about this wife. I don't know whether there is the mother of the man or not, whether there is a household help or not. So I cannot say that only man's wife was left at the home. I cannot say more than 1 person was left at the home. So the only thing I can say based on this information is, it's most likely that this wife was at home, because there is no other information that is given. So I know that there is wife, that is for sure, and it's likely that since all of them are out and there is no information on it, it's likely that she was left at home. So the correct answer here would be B. Next question. Naresh has become a better boxer since he started meditation. That's the first statement. Contrary to this, Radha says, impossible. A boxer's most important asset is his aggressiveness. So Radha's statement clearly indicates that Naresh cannot be a boxer because he believes in meditation, and what is important for a boxer is aggressiveness. That means Radha believes that meditation makes a person less aggressive, and since Naresh has become less aggressive, he cannot be a boxer now. So the correct answer here would be A. And now the last question, but the most tricky question of this set of questions. So this question we would be trying to solve it with a improved version of the syllogism problem that we have done in the videos on syllogism. Now here we have three elements. We have athletes, we have diet, and we have people who are winning. So we have athletes, we have a well-balanced diet, and we have people who are winning. Now the first statement says all good athletes want to win. That means good athletes can be here and good athletes can be here, because that's the intersection for athletes and winners. That means where would be the bad athletes? Bad athletes would be here and good athletes won't be here. Then I can say all athletes who want to win eat a well-balanced diet. So all those athletes who want to win must have a well-balanced diet. So I am saying that good athletes want to win. So there can be good athletes here, but there can be also bad athletes here. I don't know anything about bad athletes, whether they want to win or not. So I can have both good and bad athletes in this region, but outside this region I only have the bad athletes, because all good athletes are within this region. Now the second statement I say all athletes who want to win eat a well-balanced diet. That means there is no such area that exists, because all those athletes who want to win must have a well-balanced diet. That means they must lie in this region. So based on that I can say all athletes who are not getting a well-balanced diet are bad athletes. So as we can see here, all those athletes who are not getting a well-balanced diets are bad athletes. So that's correct. Now what is the best conclusion that I can draw from this statement? I can say no bad athlete wants to win. So there are bad athletes who want to win, which are here. So that is incorrect. Every athlete who eat a well-balanced diet is a good athlete. That's incorrect, because here some bad athletes remain. All athletes who want to win are good athletes. So all athletes who want to win are good. It's not necessary, because we have some bad athletes here. So that's also incorrect. Now let's read this sentence. No athlete who does not eat a well-balanced diet is a good athlete. Therefore, that means I can say there is not a single athlete who is not eating a well-balanced diet and is also a good athlete, because all those who are eating a well-balanced diet are good athletes. So there is nothing which exists outside. So this is the correct option. I will repeat this explanation again. So all good athletes want to win. So all good athletes would be in the intersection region of athletes and winner. Outside this there would be bad athletes, but there can be bad athletes here also, because there can be bad athletes who want to win. All athletes who want to win eat a well-balanced diet. So all the athletes who are winning must have a well-balanced diet. So I am cancelling out this region. So only the athletes remain with a well-balanced diet would be in this region who want to win. So based on this statement I can see that all athletes who do not get a well-balanced diet are bad athletes. That's correct. Based on this I can draw a conclusion that there is not a single athlete who is not eating a balanced diet and is a good athlete, because all those who are eating a well-balanced diet is falling in this region, and from there only I can say they are good athletes. Outside that region there is no athlete which is good athlete. So B is the correct option. With this we cover the set of 20 questions. We will be covering the set of next 20 questions in the subsequent lecture. You can subscribe to Exam Race channel for any further updates. Till then, have a good day ahead.